Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Wolf, and today I would like to pose you a question. What would a character like Rarity be like if she didn't have her comedic moments? Would we really enjoy seeing Rarity if the show wasn't willing to poke fun at her every once in a while? Would she have the same impact on the fandom if she didn't have her freak-out moments? CrittersRule247 and I had started discussing this topic, and I decided that I wanted to hear each of your opinions on the subject. I would like to read to you some of Critter's thoughts here. Is MLP's greatest asset comedy? This comes from viewing the Japanese dub of MLP, where because of the cultural differences and adjustments for time, some of the clever and out there scenes of comedy are either cut out or changed, which takes away from characters like Rarity. She seems reduced more to her stereotype because her comedy and voice changes are really what helps to break her character's stereotype. I know Rarity is so much more than comic relief, and it's because her character is so well done that I enjoy her so much. I remember not caring at all about Rarity or Pinkie Pie during the pilot, but all that changed during Giggle at the Ghosty, where I fell in love with Pinkie immediately. Rarity, on the other hand, I forgot that she existed, and I literally had to say to myself during her scene with the Stephen Magnet serpent, "Who is that?" However, my thoughts on Rarity changed during the Ticketmaster, during her fantasy with Prince Blueblood. She goes out of the upper-class voice to shout,
Of course I would say, yes!
That scene had me in stitches and made me realize that there might be more to Rarity. And what I like is that we hear the voice change very often whenever Rarity gets frustrated, indicating that the whole upper-class thing is very likely a front she puts on. And then we had Sisterhoof's Social confirm that Rarity's parents are very different from Rarity, and that tells so much about her character on a deeper level. Another telling scene with Rarity in her comedy is during Suited for Success, the part after the fashion show where she's trying to throw a stereotypical over-the-top dramatic fit and she can't figure out what she's supposed to wallow in. It's a very funny scene, but also suggests that Rarity might be a little too smart for her stereotype, which she is. Rarity tries to conduct herself as an upper-class fashionista. However, we do see moments where her voice shifts away from the prim and proper tones, and we see her questioning her own actions when she realizes how ridiculous they are. All of these comedic actions help both to build her character and break her stereotype, and there is still even more to Rarity's character beyond that. Suited for Success being the prime example of how well Rarity functions as a serious business owner and how much she is willing to sacrifice for her friends. However, I must wonder that if Rarity had no comedy projected from her personality and no one poking fun at her quirks, would this episode be as enjoyable in the long run? If Rarity didn't have these certain comedic quirks that help break her established character, would an episode like a dog and pony show end up just like the main six envisioned it when they were trying to save her? Critters brought up some interesting points about how Rarity's comedy helps to draw people into learning more about her. I myself had little interest in Rarity when I first started watching the show. On the surface, she really does seem like so many other characters that we've seen in other shows before. But then with moments like Rarity's fantasy with Prince Blueblood, her breakdown after the failed fashion show, and the infamous "this is whining" scene, Rarity becomes much more interesting. When I began enjoying her character for the comedy, I started paying closer attention to her quirks, and thus discovered that there is far more to her character than meets the eye. I don't know whether I would have taken the time to learn more about her character without her comedic bits, but such moments certainly did help in getting me curious about her. And if I hadn't taken the time to learn more about Rarity, I wouldn't have realized that the writers for MLP really have given Rarity a lot more depth than what I had first thought about her. Her moments of patience and generosity when her friends were being so demanding. Her moments of overcoming jealousy when all her other instincts are trying to tell her otherwise. And especially the times when we see her putting aside her prim and proper nature for the sake of family. All these moments in MLP gave me a lot more respect for Rarity's character. But I still have to wonder, would I have this much admiration for Rarity's character if she didn't have her breakdowns, her freakouts, her over-the-top comedic moments? In contrast, let's take a look at a character like Pinkie Pie. More than any other member of the main six, Pinkie's character is played up for her comedic moments. And she draws a lot of attention with all of her quirky traits and over-the-top antics. And for a lot of people, Pinkie is the reason they became interested in MLP in the first place. They were willing to give the show a chance because they saw this hyperactive pink pony doing some really funny bits. For many people, the comedy of MLP is what drew them into watching the show, and the depth of the characters, the writing, the animation, the music, and so much more is what kept them watching. Although comedy isn't the only reason that people first become interested in seeing more of MLP, it certainly was the reason that I wanted to sit down and start watching an episode. And for Rarity, both Critters and I would argue that without her comedic over-the-top moments in the show, there wouldn't be nearly as many people drawn to her character. Rarity would still have her moments of generosity, compassion, and devotion. And I'm sure that many people would still respect her for those traits. But would you honestly think that you would enjoy Rarity's character nearly as much if that is all she had? If you didn't see moments where the writers were poking fun at Rarity's quirks, would you still be looking forward to future appearances from Rarity? Perhaps each of us would still find our way into looking deeper into Rarity's character even without her comedy. But you have to admit, her breakdown does make her quite a bit more interesting to watch. What do you think? What part of Rarity's character first made you curious to learn more about her? What makes you look forward to future appearances from Rarity? When you were first learning about the show, which part of MLP drew you in to see more? I would like to hear your thoughts about this topic, and here's to enjoying Rarity's character for all her funny moments as well as the inspiring moments. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.